guys, so today we're going to do a little tutorial on how I made the wings on the Widowmaker. So first off, this process is lengthy, infuriating, but I find that it's easier to do this when you haven't started building, okay? So you kind of want to have an idea in your head of what size of Corvette you're going to build, what the placement of your Corvette is going to be, like if you want to have a low profile, low to the ground style Corvette, or one that's going to be higher up in the air. What I'm trying to say is, like, you can't just go and position these things wherever you want. So I mean, if you're going to have a low profile Corvette, which is how I'm going to demonstrate it, then we're going to have to do it one hab height off the ground is where I did it for the Widowmaker. But if you wanted to build a Corvette that sits higher up, you might want to build your scaffolding maybe 2 or 3 off the ground. So I'll show you what I mean here. We're going to get going. So first of all, we're just going to place the landing gear right in the center, and then we're going to take full length hab, place it on top, duplicate it under itself like that, and we're going to go 3 to the front, and we're going to go all the way over to the side until it red states, and then we'll go 1 back. We'll take that out, put a walkway here. Then what you're going to do is you're going to attach your cockpit, your landing bay. I like to use the landing thrusters because it gets the landing thrusters and engines out of the way. And then we'll need a reactor and a weapon. Okay, so this is what you're going to have, and then you can delete that hab and you can delete that landing. Now you're going to copy the halves. You're going to go not all the way to the back, 1 from the back. Okay. Now when we have this is the base for your scaffolding to do this. Okay. Now this gives us the ability to build out on either side. I mean, you could build back, but then I'll show you what I mean. Your ship is going to have to be right to the back to do this, or else it's going to end up looking cheesy because the wings will be way back here, and say your Corvette's rear end is here. You know, it's not going to look good. So it's just, like I said, you have to kind of have a plan before you start this, because it's a lot of work to, you know, you build something and then it doesn't fit right, then you have to delete it all and start again. It's a pain in the ass. So anyway, like I said, this is the base. Now also, you have to keep in mind how wide your Corvette's going to be. How far out you want your wings to go, right? So for the ship I posted the other day, I went 4 on either side. Okay, so this is how we're gonna do this. Now we're gonna go here, and we're gonna go 4 on either side here, and 4 on this side. And now we have to fill in all of this. The reason that we do this is we're placing windows, and the game doesn't like to place windows above the floor. I mean, it'll place them, but it's kind of a sporadic placement. It doesn't like to go where you want them to. This is, like I said, it's pretty pinpoint accurate, like for what you're going to be doing here, right? So let's get rid of that, and we'll put in a walkway so we're even. And now we're going to put a walkway in about the middle. Okay, I'm going to show you two different variations of this. If you can start from the front of the ship, which is going to give you a set of wings that'll start low in the front and kind of spiral up around the corner to a higher point on the ship further back. And if you start from the back of the ship, they're going to start lower and work their way around towards the front, but get higher as they go. But you have to pick one or the other for a build, unless you're going to make like a really small Corvette, because this is fairly parts intensive, like for a set of wings. I believe the wings on the Widowmaker took up 40 pieces of the 100-piece part cap. That's why I did all of the interior of the ship with base parts, no halves, because I would have ran out of parts otherwise. So anyway, once we have our scaffolding in place, you're going to run up here, and what you're going to do is you're going to put yourself into first person mode. Okay, and now you're going to say hello to your new best friend, which is the molded crate. Okay, I want you to notice on the bottom of the molded crate there's ribs, right? You want to get the thick center line here. You see the three lines that I'm standing on, the thick one in the center. You want to try to get that thick line in the center in the middle of those two central ribs of the crate, and you're slowly going to move it away from yourself until you find the collision point and the crate falls off. So you want to try to get that crate as close to that point as you can. And then place it. And then you're going to turn around and you're going to do the same thing on the other side. All right. Okay, so like that. All right, so now we have a crate on both sides here. Now for the back, if you want to do wings on the back of your ship that come around and go higher as they go, what you're going to do is you're going to jump in this little crate and you're going to go to the outside corner facing the back on either side, right? So this side we're in this corner, on that side we'll be in this corner. So you want to push against that corner, right? And what you're going to do is you're going to go over to the paneled window and you're going to click into free placement mode. Okay, like I said, this is a very tedious process, but what we're going to do here just to start out, you want to line your crosshairs up with the main line here where these two halves intersect. You're going to follow that line all the way back until you get your X. Okay, now once you get the X from the collision point, you want to just come back just a bit until you get the dot again and place your window. Okay, so now we're going to do the same thing on the other side. and we're going to hopefully get them to line up. If they don't line up, we'll have to try again. Like I said, go to the end, to the collision point, until you get the X. Just slightly bring it back until you get the crosshair again. Place your window. And we'll come back and we'll see how close they are. Well, that's bang on, so that's good. That's what we want. Alright, so it's fairly hard to see from back there when you're doing this, right? But I'm going to show you what I mean. Not these 3 dots, we're going to use those later in the wings that come from the front. But for this one, what we're looking for is this corner right here. This corner where these 2 support joists meet on this window, at this corner. This is what you're going to be aiming for. Alright. So we'll come back here. We're going to jump in our box. We're going to do the same thing that we were doing before, except this time you're not just going to place a window. You're going to cycle using either X or square if you're on PlayStation. You're going to duplicate that part, and what that's going to do is it's going to give us that window in the exact same orientation that is placed right there. Okay, so now try to get it right on that corner, and I know it's hard to see it from this far back, but once you get that, place the window, and you see how it steps up. Now you cycle X, you duplicate the window, line up with your corner, place the window, cycle X, duplicate the part, line up with the corner, place the window, and you'll just keep doing that for as long as you want your wings to be. However, once you get to about 8 or 9 paneled windows to either side, they start acting a little funny and they don't want to place where you want them to. So you'll have to keep jumping out of your little box and going to see. Now you see here, it doesn't want to place where I want it to. So now we have to kind of move down until we get the crosshair to show up again instead of the X. The further out you go, the harder it is. So now I'll show you what happens here. You kind of want them to be phasing through each other like this. You see how they're doing this? And then all of a sudden this one's pulling away, right? That's what's going to happen. That's what causes your curve. So it's pretty uniform. You know, when you look down the line like this, you can see, you know, what the spacing is like between these windows. So every once in a while you want to come and check, and if you see them jump way further out, you need to delete that and try again. It's just the way it is. I don't have a workaround for it. I have tried multiple times and it just seems to act up once in a while, so we'll carry on here. I duplicated the wrong window there, so let's do this one. Okay, let's go and check. See, we're still good. See how it's, like I said, it's uniform, right? You can see the spacing's the same between all of them. Once that stops happening, I find that putting another box a little forward tends to help. But instead of using the lines, we use the edge of the yellow line and the black line here. You want to have it kind of like this. So you can set this up. When you start having trouble, it tends to help. I guess it cuts some of the angle off. But this is the only way that I've really figured out around the difficulties that I have placing these windows. Now remember, you want to try to keep in mind how many parts you want to sacrifice in your build for these wings. If you go around and place 25 windows on each side, you know, you're going to be up to 50 parts. So I see how they jump up, and these ones are all pretty uniform, right? They jump up at the same increments until here, where we started having trouble placing them because now we're not aiming at that point anymore, right? So you can see that the wings go up at a nice angle here, and then they kind of flatten out, but they're still going up, but not as much. So that will happen. I mean, it would be nice to be able to get them to have a really nice high arch and then come back down. I haven't been able to figure that out yet. I'll keep working on it, but at the moment I have no workaround for that either. It's not a perfect system, but this is how I do it. Okay, so I think that these are starting to be messed up now. Yeah, you see that? Right there. So that means we have to go all the way back to there. Try again. As soon as you see them not being uniform to the ones beside it, you know that it didn't work properly. So now I'm going to move to the front box that we placed and try placing it there. Well, that still didn't work. You see that? It's too far out. Or maybe it's not. I'm not really sure. I'll place another one that doesn't look as bad as the last one, so. And now see, we're back to being able to point at the corner. So now you got your arch, and it flattens out for a minute, and now we're going to start moving up again. Or not. We get lucky for one window. It's odd. Alright, so how many we got here? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. That one's messed up, so we get 17. I think that's... yeah, that one's no good. I don't know why that one did that. We'll just try again. That's not good. No. Well, I don't want to make the video longer than it needs to be, so we're just going to go with this many for the tutorial. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we'll do 11 on the other side so I can show you the difference between the way you place your halves, okay? There's two different ways, obviously, that you can place the halves, either end on end or side on side. And whichever way you decide to place your halves is going to have a drastic effect on the way the parts that you attach to those halves are going to look. Remember, you want to be cycling your toggle edit build after every window placement and duplicate the window prior. You don't want to just place another window because that window will get placed straight. It won't have any angle on it. And I'll show you the difference is we don't use this method on the front wings, which are the ones that are on the the Widowmaker. It doesn't have wings that started at the back. I started those wings at the front, so I've actually yet to keep a build that has this style of wing on it. I've posted videos of 2 different builds that had these wings on it, but I haven't actually kept one of those builds for myself. I didn't like the way they turned out, but I also didn't try the other orientation of the halves for this particular set of wings either. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, so that is that, all right? That's how we do that. Now, for the front swept wings, it's the same thing with the boxes. We're going to place a box inside this black line to the right of me and just on the far side of the yellow line. And we're going to turn around and we're going to do the same thing here. No, I'm wrong. I'm sorry. That's not right. So you're going to use the center boxes that we placed that are off the collision points on either side here. And now what you have to decide here is where you want your wings to start from left to right. Like say your ship is narrow, like 1 hab width narrow, and you want your wings to start just outside of the 1 hab, right? If that's the case, you would want to place your box here on both sides, right? So you're gonna go on the inside of this line, because if you don't, see the box sinks in like that. You don't want that. You're gonna put it on the intersection of the yellow line and the black line that is closest to the front of the building area here, right? And now we go over here and we do the same thing here, okay? Now, if your ship is going to be a wider ship and you want the wings to start out further, then you just skip that hab and you come to this hab and you do it here. Or you come to this hab and you do it here. You see what I mean? Like, you can start them wherever you want. It just depends on how wide of a sweep you want on these wings, okay? For this, I'll just do the narrow example so you can see. Now, it's the same thing as before. We're going to hop in our little cat box here. For this first placement, I find it's helpful to turn on the window, or the light, I'm sorry. And again, select your paneled window, and you're going to aim for the outermost black dot on that box, okay? And now we're going to place our window. And then what I was showing you, those 3 dots before, okay, that's where we're going to be aiming. So, shut my light off. Remember how to play the darn game. So you see these 3 dots here. We're going to be aiming for that center one right on this corner. The difference is how much the part, like the window is going to place, it's going to be stepping up, right? So essentially you're going to start here and then it's going to slowly work its way up and kind of come around to over here. Now, if you aim at this one, it's going to stay level or darn near level. If you aim at this one or higher, your step up every time you place a window is going to drastically increase, okay? So I find that they look the best when you aim right for the corner. It's just my opinion, but you know, you can do what you want. Once you know how to do this, you can play around with it. So anyway, now we're just going to place another window. You don't need to duplicate the windows anymore because we want the windows to stay straight for this particular technique. So again, we'll aim right for that corner and we'll place. Now you see it did step up, but it didn't step up much. Okay, now if I aim down here, it's almost the same. If I aim up here, you see how much it steps up, right? So that's the difference. So like I said, I'm just going to aim right for the corner. And we're just going to bring it all the way around until it's behind us. This is a little trickier than the rear wings. You really have to be conscious of holding your position in that box because you're rotating around in a circle doing this, and you'll keep coming out of that corner. And if you come out of that corner while you're placing these windows, you're gonna have a bumpy ride. So just kind of keep pushing yourself into that corner as you rotate, and you won't move around too much. Alright, So that's good for that one. And then we'll do this side so I can show you, like I said, the difference between the two example, or the two different orientations that you can place the halves in, right? So again, we want to aim for that outside black dot on that box. Start. Place the window. And just follow your path all the way around to the corner. Oh, that was too far. There we go. What the heck? Falling out of my box here. Okay, so that's that. That is how we do it, and you see how it starts high and it just corkscrews its way back down to a lower point. That's what we want. Now we can delete our boxes. We don't need them anymore. And you don't need to, you know, carry on doing your build and then forget that you have these laying around. They get swallowed up in the build, and then you try to save your build later on and it tells you that you can't save your work because all the parts aren't attached. So just delete them now and save yourself the grief. So we'll just do this one side at a time so you can see the difference in how we place these, all right? I'm going to duplicate this one back. Two back, sorry, and then we'll do one off attached. And we'll start with the back windows so you can see. So on this side, we'll do the end-to-end orientation. Now see, this is what I mean when I was saying in the video yesterday that there's a lot of trial and error, and that you have no idea which way the part is facing, right? Like, you would assume this part should be facing forwards because it just snapped into place, right? And it is, but it could be backwards. You don't know. So this one snapped into place. This one snapped into place. You would think they would all be forward. They may not be, though. And that's what I mean. You have to check all of these. You see how it's not? Why isn't it? I didn't flip it. You know, it just snapped into place like that. You have no idea which way these are going. So that's one downfall of doing this. It eats up a lot of time having to go and fix these darn things. But if you want your parts all facing the right direction, it's kind of what you have to do. For some reason, did you not place a window there? What's happening? See how I had to flip that one? It went sideways. So again, you don't know which way it's facing. Alright, so now we know but a bunch of them are facing the wrong way. You need to decide if you want them going frontwards or backwards first of all, right? So these two are frontwards, and it looks like they're, oh no, there's another frontwards. So yeah, we can place a vent there, and we can place a vent there. And now we know that we have to change the orientation of all of the halves that are between the vents. And to do that, save the build, and we'll go here and we'll install a ladder in all of these halves. Once we have a ladder in all the halves, we go back to the editor. And now we're going to duplicate. Place one on top of each of the ones that needs to be rotated. And then go along carefully and make sure you're grabbing the right one. And rotate them. And now we can grab our vent and double check that I did it correctly. Didn't miss any or rotate any too many times, which I did that one, which I thought I did, but well, that's not a big deal. We'll just take it, flip it again, and there we go. Alright, so now that you have this, you need to decide what part you want to use. I use the air-on blades, but you can use anything you want. So let's say you want to use an Arcadia wing module, right? So now you see, you just place it all the way along and in two positions. So we're going to choose the back position. And it won't let us attach anything to those bottom two, so that's as far as we can go. Now we can delete those tabs. And that's the result that you're left with, okay? Might not be the nicest part that I picked to illustrate the way that this works, but you get the idea, right? And you can carry on and make them go out as far as you want, but like I said, it's fairly parts intensive, so the more parts you use on the wings means less parts you have to make your build. So that's the front and back orientation, okay? That's how it looks. So now let's try the sideways, which I think is probably going to look better. But like I said, I haven't tried it on these back angled wings yet, so we'll soon see. And again, you have to double check to make sure that they're all in the same orientation, which I'm sure they're not, because rarely ever are. Oh, look at that, they are this time. Nice. You see how these are kind of messed up, right? Not really trying to make it pretty. Like, I mean, if I was doing this build for myself, I would spend 4 hours trying to get these right, but I'm not going to make you sit here for that amount of time to do this. So once you know how to do it, you can spend the time on your own and play around with it. So if you're doing the sideways facing orientation, like you just saw me remove all the windows, you have to affix the parts, right? So that's why I did that. Now let's just use the same thing, I guess. We'll use the Arcadia wing module. That's ugly how it went down like that, but we're illustrating the point of the whole thing anyway. So yeah, if you can get them all on a nice flow going upwards, you know, you could make some really nice stuff with that, okay? And like I said, it just depends on what part you're going to attach to it. Like this, I probably didn't pick the best part to put on there, but it is what it is. It's just for illustration on how to do it. I'll use the parts I used yesterday for the front ones. You can see what that looks like. Alright, so now that we're here, we'll do this side with the sideways. See, this doesn't want to cooperate, so you have to just place it, rotate it. Unfortunately, I just fucked myself because now that window's gone. Wait a second, we didn't save anything, so I can just store this, open it up again. Yeah, see? I'm gonna get rid of all this because we did it already. Well, let's try that again, shall we? This is fairly tricky to get them to line up. You don't want to do this. Come on. It always screws you somewhere. I don't know if that's the right way or if it's not, so. But yeah, once you go around and you place all your halves, again, we have to check to see if they're all in the same orientation, because if they're not, they're gonna look like shit. You don't want to go and place all of your parts onto these habitats and then get halfway through and figure out, oh, this one's not in the right. Why is this part facing the opposite way? This doesn't look good, and you have to delete all the work and start again. So this is definitely a necessary step that you can't skip. You have to do this. If it would cooperate, it would be nicer. think that we actually got lucky this time and they're all the right way, so nice. Okay, so this is how I did the wings on the Widowmaker. Again, like I said, you have to remove all the windows now. And your hab placement on this technique is, it's a drastic difference, like drastic. So I actually didn't even think about trying this. Oh, they're the wrong way. I don't want to flip all of those. Okay, that's kind of horseshit, I guess. It's not going to look good doing it that way, so I guess we have no choice. And just because they're all the same direction doesn't mean they're the right direction, I suppose. Jesus, man, we're already 48 minutes into this fucking video and we haven't even built anything yet. Alright, so again, once you have all your habs placed, we can exit the builder and go and install ladders in every one of those lower habs. Alright, and now we'll go and flip them. If they pop out, just try to put them back in place and flip them. That's what I didn't need to happen. Let's red state everything so it's extra hard to see. Okay. Get rid of all the top halves again. And now we should be good to go here. So I'm going to start on the furthest point because you'll be able to place these on 2 different points. Oh, I don't want this here. Not there either. There for now. So just place it and work your way around. And about that point, I chose to switch to the air-on blades. Make sure you go to your highest point. And just keep placing them until there's no more places to place them. Now we can delete those tabs and everything will be red stated again. So yeah, that's what you end up with, right? Doing it like this, which looks pretty cool. Now, it doesn't need to come this far back. I just like to make it all the way this far and then remove them equally on either side as the build that I'm making unfolds, you know? So now we'll try it the other way so you can see the difference. You can come up with some pretty neat builds like this as well. More like a saw blade. Everything's really jagged, not smooth, right? But it's completely different than the way I just showed you. Get that piece to connect, that'd be nice. Alright, so again, take your small vent and check to make sure that they're in the same orientation. Twice in a row, I should go buy a lottery ticket today. I'm telling you. Alright, so I don't know about these things per se, you know, like if you were going to place these, probably not going to look very good going around like that, but we'll use a air-on blade to illustrate the point. It's a very different look from what we just did. If you have both sides doing the same thing, they overlap and make a pretty neat design in the front. So anyway, this is what you're left with after doing that. So yeah, that's how I do it, you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the comments. I will catch you next time.